And we're back for another week of A-League action. I don't really want to talk about last weekend, partially for Sydney FC reasons, but mostly because it was just crazy. Like, you could maybe take stuff out of it, but I just think as a weekend of football, it was insane and I loved it. But I don't want to dissect it more than it needs to be dissected. So we'll just talk about it briefly. And I put out my Instagram polls for the week, masterclass of the round and shit show of the round. And as voted by you guys, Adelaide got masterclass of the round, and of course they fucking did. They beat Melbourne City, the team that's caused absolute terror in the regular season for the last 3 years straight, winning back-to-back-to-back Premier's plates, and Adelaide have done them in 6-0 in the second round of the season after beating the team that beat them in the grand final 3-0 as well. They look like the real deal. They've got a fantastic group of young players. Like, they've got their older players in there as well, but it's mostly a young squad, or at least the players really pulling the strings, like Iran Kunda, who scored a fantastic free kick. And I actually thought during the game, that's the first ever A-League player I've wanted Liverpool to sign. Like, not like out of hope, oh, maybe he'll be good. Out of, it's a fucking bargain. Like, whatever you can get him for now will be cheaper than later, because he's getting better and better and better and has loads of potential to succeed on the world stage. We'll see how it pans out. But point is, he led Adelaide to a 6-0 win on Sunday against Melbourne City. And I think he's going to continue doing that throughout the season. So, yeah, Adelaide, masterclass of the week. And after that, I think they are title contenders. And then we've also got the shit show of the week, which was Sydney FC, for basically the same reason we were the shit show of the week last week. And the shit show of last season, for most of it. Because, yeah, we just suck. Like, we can go into games, we can hold the ball, we can do the sexiest switches around the midfield, but we just have no penetration. We're not able to do anything around the box. Our players don't work together well enough to break down even the slightly most tight, that's a word jungle, but, you know, like just the most vaguely defensively focused team, and we fall apart. We can't break them down and we're shit. Hopefully we can overcome it, but it's another, like, we've been building to these and they're getting worse and worse and worse. It's just another horrific performance where we do a bunch of things right, but we make so many mistakes and we're so fucking useless that we just don't do anything except get smashed. So, yeah, Sydney FC with a shit show of the week. And other than those games, Adelaide versus City and Sydney versus Brisbane, we had Melbourne Victory beat Newcastle Jets and Bruno Fallen-Roley get 4 goals, which it's really the first time he feels like a Victory player, and I'm kind of a little bit, I mean, he did also feel like a Victory player in round 1, unfortunately, because he scored against us. But, you know what I mean. And then you had a pretty decent game over in Wellington where Ollie Sale was retarded. And I think Wellington, not very good, but they were clinical and they got a 2-1 win against Perth. Wanderers scored 5 goals in the first half to beat Western United 5-0. Nothing happened in the second half. So, suck shit. RBB weren't close to any goals. Got to take your wins as a Sydney fan. And then there was MacArthur versus Central Coast as well, which MacArthur won. I don't even know. I might have even tipped that, but, you know, it was just like, really, who cares? They both suck. And then there's one more game that I'm forgetting, but if I'm forgetting it, then it probably wasn't that good to begin with. So, yeah, that was last weekend, and the main talking point somehow in all of that was the attendances. I mean, look, there's a lot of people talking about the football, but I see a small amount of people online talking about attendances, and I'm going to talk about that because it pisses me off, really, because it's just so pointless. Like, what do you want? Like, do you want, I mean, obviously you want 40,000 people, you want people packing out stadiums every week, but that's not going to happen. We don't have that many football fans. Do you want just fucking random people in there? Like, I mean, maybe once a year. Like, I saw something where a German club does like a free round, or like free games for people where people can just go for free. So that's actually pretty cool. You know what? Let people go for free. But point is that you're a fucking boring, annoying baby if you can look at that round and even remotely be asked to talk about attendances. He says, as he's about to talk about attendances. But they were good, in my opinion. I mean, we had Brisbane Roar versus Sydney FC at 7,500 people at 6:45 p.m. Not 7:45 as it was in normal people time. It was in that fucking inbred Queensland time. So it was at 6:45, which is way too close to when work ends. It's less than 2 hours from when work ends. Like, yeah, of course it's going to have a little bit of a downturn, but 7.6K and a good atmosphere. What more do you want? Like, I was at that game. I went up to Brisbane, unfortunately, to see Sydney FC lose. But it was an incredible atmosphere. I had a great trip. And the Brisbane crowd was part of it. Like, I don't know. I mean, okay, it could have been more, but, like, it was fun. It was nice. It was a good time, footballing-wise, except watching Sydney. And then Knicks versus Perth had 6.1K. I don't really know about Wellington crowds. I've never been to a game in Wellington. But I'm sure it's better than a crowd in Auckland because that would have people from Auckland in it, and fuck those cunts. Then Western Sydney versus Western United had 8K, which, yeah, that is shit. That's Wanderers. And then Central Coast versus MacArthur, 6K, which is actually, that's good, man. Like, I mean, Central Coast don't really get that great attendances, and they're playing MacArthur. Like, 6K is pretty good. And they had a home game on Thursday in the Champions League. Some people, might have gone to that instead. So, they're diluting their crowd. So, yeah, fucking fantastic attendance. And then the ones on Sunday, all the ones on Sunday I reckon are good. Victory versus Newcastle had 13K, nearly half of Amy Park, pretty good. Especially considering they're going through the fucking repercussions of their own fucking stupidity. Like, how many fans are banned because they're fucking morons that can't manage a fucking protest? Yeah, they're dealing with that. So to get 13K is pretty impressive. And then Adelaide versus Melbourne City got 10K, and Coopers looks like a fucking fortress. It looks like a scary fortress. I'm going there next week, and I'm scared. Not for my life, but for my happiness, because it looks like it could affect the Sydney players. But yeah, like, those were the attendance numbers. I just wanted to let you know. They're not that great. They're not that bad either. I don't really think there's something worth talking about. Again, I'm still doing it. But it's early on in the season. There's no, like, marquee games like the Big Blue or the Derby or whatever. There's no definitive games for, like, table position. It's all open now. It's like, ooh, first versus second. It's 2 games in or 1 game in before this round. Like, it all meant nothing. And yeah, I feel like it's fine. I mean, you obviously always want it to be better because it can be, but, yeah, it just seems like a bit of a waste of time. Until you hear this next bit, right? Because I've genuinely come up with an idea, like, that's not really a great marketing idea, but it is. And it's that we mandate A-League clubs do Taylor Swift sing-alongs on TikTok. Because the Matildas, who have apparently sold out their last 15 games in Australia, they're the only football in this country selling all of the fucking tickets. Obviously, there was a Women's World Cup too. But they have made 2 Tay-Tay sing-alongs on TikTok. 0 from the A-League. And, like, yeah, okay, it sounds a bit funny. Ooh, do a Tay-Tay sing-along. Ha, 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 ha. No, she's massive. Are you not aware of what's going on in the NFL right now? The NFL is, like, still a massive sporting league. Like, I know real football fans like to clown on it because it's really just America, and some weirdos in the UK like it. And so do I as well. But yeah, have you seen what's happening with that? Tay-Tay's fucking one of the players, and that's all the league and people are talking about. So there's pull there. Do some Tay-Tay TikToks, people. I think that's the solution. If you've got any crowd issues, I've just solved them. The A-League was fantastic. Don't worry about the crowds. Tay-Tay TikToks are coming. And now we're going to talk about the games coming up this week. And there's two that I'm really interested in. I'll get through like the kind of boring ones where I don't even give a shit if I predict them. We've got the Knicks versus Brisbane, which I am excited to watch because I think Brisbane should be winning this match, but it's going to be quite difficult because, you know, the Knicks are at home and they've shown that they can win a game. Like they beat Perth, who weren't easy to beat besides when Ollie Sale has the ball. So, yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like the Knicks could punish Brisbane, but Brisbane could and will go out and win this game. So I'm going to go 2-1 Brisbane. But either way, I'm excited to see because I think it's going to be a good test of where both teams are at. Same with MacArthur versus Western. I expected MacArthur to be shit and Western to be good this season, but Western are coming off the back of a 5-0 loss and then coming back up to Sydney to play a team that's, you know, just come off a win. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but I've still got hope for Western United this year, and I'm going to be predicting a 3-2 win. Then we got Perth versus the Mariners, which is a great time to have a nap. It's after one of the good games this weekend. I think both of these teams have looked crap this year, but I think Perth, being at home and looking less crap this year, will be getting a 2-1 win. And then Newcastle versus Wanderers. Newey have scored 5 goals in 2 games, but Western Sydney scored 5 goals in 45 minutes. And that's not actually relevant. I just think Western Sydney are well better than Newcastle. And I also wanted to say in regards to this fixture, fuck 3 p.m. kickoffs. I hate them on TV. I hate going to them as a fan. I mean, actually, no, just 3 p.m. Sundays in summer. It's fucking stupid. I know it's not technically summer yet, but it's probably going to be hot on Sunday and therefore shit. And even I, as someone who hates Western Sydney and their entire fan base, don't want them to be fucking afflicted by a hot Newcastle away, because that happened to me last season and it was gross. But anyway, let's talk about the 2 games I care about this season. Melbourne, not this season, this week. Melbourne City versus Sydney FC. It's another fucking Friday kickoff. I mean, we had 2 against them on a Friday at the end of last season, and we're coming off a Friday kickoff. I'm sick of Friday kickoffs, and I don't want it to be on Friday, but it is. And I actually, I don't know what to make of this game. I'd like to see a win. No, I don't know what I want to see from my only suggestion. My only suggestion is swap Caceres and Burgess. We've got nothing in the final third. We have no creative ability whatsoever. And Caceres has more ability to, you know, ping a pass through a couple of defenders and take them out of the game than Burgess does. Burgess, fantastic cutting in on his left foot, or cutting in on his left foot, and sometimes also cutting in on his left foot. But other than those, you know, different sets of skills, he's talented still, like he's good enough to be in the squad, but I don't know, I just feel like Caceres is way better at breaking down a defense. So that would be something that I suggest, but that's literally never going to happen. I don't know when Holman's coming back, but I would like to see Holman get back in the side and push Caceres further forward. Because also, like, Lolly and Mac, they're clearly talented players that have, you know, done bits for Sydney. Joe Lolly, like 3 weeks ago, won the Mark Viduka medal in a fucking scintillating cup performance. So, yeah, I mean, he's clearly good, but he's never consistent enough. And we need them to step up in terms of, like, their creative ability, either for themselves or for other players like Fabio Gomez, because at the moment, like, the amount of times I saw them get the ball in the corner in Brisbane's half, and then just run diagonal like towards the center circle was just fucking ridiculous. And like that's all they've got, and it just closes down options. It's just a waste of possession. Like at that point, just kick it into their players and hope for a throw in. But yeah, point is, we suck. I have no idea how to fix us. I do. It's replace the manager. It's over. The writing's on the wall. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not. Yeah, and then maybe we can get a win. But City, on the other hand, clearly look a bit shot. They've also had 2 losses this season. I think they're bottom of the table. And we could be getting a win against them. Not that it means much now that we've lost to Brisbane, but we beat City in the Cup. And maybe we can do it again. They looked pretty poor in the Cup, although they did look really, really good against Buriram, the Thai team in the Champions League. They won 2-0 away from home. So if they put in a performance like that, if they sit back, don't give us many chances, and score a couple of goals down the other end, we're absolutely fucked. If they play like they did against Adelaide, where they let their heads drop and they're just second best all game, then we might be good. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to predict for this game. I'm going to go 1-0 Sydney. I don't expect us to score plenty of goals at the moment. Although I do feel like when we do get goals, it'll be like we'll get 3 or 4 in a game. And then, you know, the next game, or like maybe we'll even do it for a couple of games in a row, but eventually we'll just go back to not scoring consistently. Or not scoring enough, at least, consistently. But anyway, the big actual game of the weekend, like that's cool, but it's 2 fucking shit teams. The big game of the weekend is Victory versus Adelaide, the original rivalry. It's a top of the table clash in a primetime kickoff slot on free-to-air. The A-League does not get any better about this, and I am gutted that I did not even consider booking this when I booked Melbourne City away, because I mean, I've been wanting to go to an original rivalry match for ages. It looks like one of the best games in football, and I've always wanted to go to Cooper's, but now looking at how this game could impact the season, it's going to be a real tough one to miss. Like, I do have the option. I just got finally my yearly pay rise, so I'm getting a bit of back pay. And I could realistically like have some extra money that I could put into going to this game, but I don't think I'm going to do it. And you know, that's kind of sad, but I do have to save some money for real away days, Sydney away days. But yeah, it just looks like an awesome match to watch. So far, both of the teams have looked really good, and I know Melbourne City shipped 3 goals against Newcastle on the weekend, but they looked really good defensively against Sydney. And I know after everything I've just said, that doesn't mean much, but I mean, maybe they can do it against Adelaide. Maybe Newcastle were just really good going forward. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Like, I really don't know how to predict this, because Adelaide have looked really good. Melbourne Victory probably not looked as good as Adelaide, but looked good nonetheless. So, and they've obviously got the Amy Park advantage. It's going to be a crazy crowd. I imagine a lot of people from Adelaide will be going over as well. And yeah, I just think we're in for a really good game. We're going to have some great players going at each other too. Obviously, Fallen Rolly coming off a big week. Iran Kunda, Bernardo, Musa Toure, everyone at Adelaide coming off a big week. So, yeah, I can't wait to watch this game. This has got to be one that I think every football fan in Australia, watching this, like, I get missing A-League games. Sometimes you're just not that into it. Like, MacArthur versus Western before this, you know, I get not caring about that. But I feel like if you have any love for the A-League, you should be watching this game. You should be excited for this game. And I want Adelaide to win. But I think it's going to be a draw. I think these teams are going to be hard to separate. We're going to see a good fight throughout the season. I mean, maybe it's still early on. Plenty of things to go. These predictions are just guesses, but yeah, that's the show for this week. Little attendance ramble. I did my masterclass and shit show of the round, and my predictions for this weekend. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. It has been fun doing a third video for a third week for you. I have appreciate the support and the shit on the videos so far. It's been enjoyable doing consistent A-League content again, and I'm planning on doing it for the rest of the season. So fucking thanks for watching, and watch more when I put it out, cunts.